पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. Welcome to all listeners. In the last class held on 7-6-20, we studied the verses 7th to 13th of this 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This chapter is called Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. That is the distinction of the Shraddha into three distinct faith. The Shraddha means faith. It is divided into three types: the Sattvika Shraddha, the Rajasika Shraddha, the Tamasika Shraddha. There we also learnt about three types of food and also three types of sacrifices, yajna. So ahara and yajna of three types we learned there. And these three types of food, three types of sacrifices, etc. are liked by three types of spiritual aspirants. That was also told there. Now come, we shall today continue the same subject, same chapter from verse 14. Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam cha Shariram Tapavachyate. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. The austerity which is called Shariram Tapa, the physical austerities, these have 8 characteristics. So those characteristics are mentioned as Deva Pujanam. Deva, worshipping of the gods, worshipping of then Dvija, worshipping of wise people, spiritual people. Dvija means twice born. Usually it is meant the Brahmins according to the real characteristics of the Brahmin, not by birth, but the Vedas they say according to the character, according to the nature. People are classified into Brahmana, Kshatriya, etc. So those people who are called Brahmins by their nature, by their upbringing, by their culture, so worshipping of them. Then worshipping of Guru. Then Prajna. Prajna means wise people. Other than the Guru, other than the Brahmanas, there are other people also who are scholarly, wise, old in age and full of experiences. So they are called Prajnas. So this Prajna Pujanam, worshipping of such people. So this is one of the characteristics of the physical tapas. And also Shaucham. Shaucham is purity. Purity at the outer level by using cleaning things like this, soap, etc. And internally cleaning also. Sometimes we take certain medicines, certain things, which will cleanse the inner systems. So the Shaucham, this involves both these things. One is the inner cleaning and one is outer cleaning. So they are also part of this physical austerity. Then Arjavam. Arjavam is straightforwardness, simplicity. So practice of simplicity also in dress, in movement, in using many things, which can be very simple also. We need not go for complicated things. Say nowadays so many things we use pens. Pens, very good pens, you can use good cheap pens. You need not go for only Parker. So, or something else which is costly, or with gold metal, all these things we need not have. So, practice of simplicity. So, these is also a physical austerity. Then brahmacharyam. Brahmacharya is celibacy, continence. This continence is of two kinds: the continence of the householder, continence of the bachelor, unmarried people. So this continence of the householder is to restrict his sex life with his spouse, with his legal wife, with his dharma patni, who has been married, and then being loyal to one another all through the life, in good days and bad days of life. So live together as one, support to one another, being loyal all through the life. This is called the brahmacharya of the householder. Similarly, the brahmacharya, the celibacy or continence of an unmarried person, is full abstinence from any sex relationship at a physical level. This is also an austerity. It's a great austerity. Ahimsa cha, non-injury, non-violence, not giving any trouble or embarrassing others in any way at the physical level. So this is the physical austerity. This is called Shariram Tapa Uchyate. These austerities of 8 kinds. One, Deva Pujana, worshipping of the Devatas, gods. Gods, we worship in different forms. So, like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Ambika, Kali, Durga, or Rama, Krishna, Buddha, etc. So, worshipping of different gods with flowers, with sandal paste. So, this is physical austerity, part of the physical austerity. Similarly, worshipping of the twice born. Then, third one is worshipping of the wise elderly people, and then Guru. Fourth. Fifth is Shaucha, the practice of purity inside and outside of the body. Then Arjavam, the straightforwardness, simplicity in all that we do physically. Then Brahmacharyam, celibacy, continence, which I explained just now, of 2 types, one that concerns the unmarried people, another that concerns the householders. Then Ahimsa, non-violence, not to injure others unnecessarily. If somebody comes and injures you, to save yourself, you may return some injury behind. Somebody comes and slaps you. In return, suppose you don't take action, he will continue to slap you and give you trouble. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say that you must hiss, you should not bite. So this is a story, very famous story by Sri Ramakrishna. This is called ahimsa, non-violence. So all these 8 characteristics are involved in this physical austerity. Then after physical austerity, we come to know about the vocal, verbal austerity. What is this verbal austerity? It contains of 2 main items, 2 main characteristics. That is, anudvegakaram vakyam, satyam priya hitanchayat, swadhyayabhyasanam cha eva vangmayam tapauchyate. Vangmayam tapauchyate. That austerity is called the vocal austerity, in which you have what? Anudvegakaram vakyam. The speech should be anudvegakaram. Speech must be, first of all, satyam. It should be truth. So only truthfulness must be maintained. No untruthfulness should be uttered. So speak always truth. This is a vocal austerity. Purify the speech means speak always the truth. So you have purified your speech. So speech must always be based on truth. Then this satya should not be spoken in a very inagreeable way, in a sort of a rude way. So further it is said, satyam, which is also priyam, it should be agreeable. So we must tell people in such a way that they are not simply thrown out of their calmness, calm mind. So tell it in an agreeable way. And hitam, in a, only if it is a beneficial one, you should utter the truth. If it has nothing to do with the person, why should you go and tell him a truth which has nothing concern, no concern of him is there for that? You need not unnecessarily waste your time. Is telling the truth to him. So if it is beneficial only, you tell the truth. And then it should be anudvegakaram. Udvega is fear. Then this anudvega is fearless. So you must keep your speech in such a way, though it may be true, but you must speak it in such a way that no fear is created, no apprehension is created, no sort of a upsetting of the mind suddenly is created when you speak the truth. For example, some people want to convey a news, a bad news of somebody has passed away in their home. So they have got a patient in the hospital. They want to convey this one to their patient who is related to this person who has passed away. But when you go, the wise doctors, they say, no, no, you leave the information with me. We will pass it on to him in our own way, by which, he is not put into any apprehension, any sort of a worry, which is very bad for his health now. Therefore, you leave it with us, we will convey it to you. He will convey it in such a sweet way, in such a slow way, methodical, step by step. He will reveal to him in the last step, you see, your relative has passed away. So then the patient, he takes the truthful statement without any fear or apprehension. So this is called anudvegakaram vakyam. That means one must speak the truth, which should not create any fear or anxiety, which should be agreeable, in an agreeable language, in a gentleman language. Harsh language we cannot use. Hitam, which is beneficial. If it is beneficial, you tell. Otherwise, you need not tell it. Then, swadhyaya abhyasanam, the study of the Vedas. Study of the Vedas means Vedas and all the other books also pertaining to it. The Shat Darshanas, the six philosophies of Hindu religion or philosophies of other religions also. So study the scriptures and all the other things also that are associated with it. Similarly, the Upanishads are there, Puranas are there, all of them are to be studied. So this Vedadhyanam, this is called study of the Vedas. This is also part of the verbal austerity. The austerity that is to be carried out through this speech. Then we come to the third, the highest level of austerity, the mental austerity. What is this mental austerity? Manaprasadaha, saumyatvam, maunam atmavinigraha, bhava samshuddhi iti etat tapaha manasam uchyate. Manaprasada saumyatvam, maunamatma vinigraha, bhava samshuddhirityetat tapo manasamuchyate. So that tapas, the austerity is called the mental tapas, mental austerity, which contains these characteristics. What are these characteristics? Manaprasadaha, the placidity of the mind, calmness of the mind, serenity. So to hold the mind calm. So always try to be calm and quiet. So things will happen which will upset you, but immediately we must have something by which we must be able to calm our mind. So whenever, however much is possible, hold the mind in a serene mood, in a calm mood. This is one of the characteristics of mental austerity. Saumyatvam, kindliness. The kindliness, the mind must have kindly thoughts to others. Then the kindliness come at the other levels also. In speech also will be very kind. In action also will be kind. But it should start with the mind. In mind itself there must be kindly attitude towards everything. When do you become kind? So when we only feel that we are all related to one another. We are all in a divine way related to one another. We are all children of God. We are children of the same Guru. We are, we are the children of a particular spiritual culture. So all these things, when you go on remembering it, so our mind becomes full of kindliness to others. Whenever we see somebody, so we feel kind towards them, a sort of a gentle feelings towards others. This is also one of the characteristics. Then maunam. Maunam means the state of contemplativeness, holding the mind in contemplation at all times. We have got, each one has his own liking of certain subjects, and we can go on thinking about them. We enjoy it ourselves at the same time, so our speech is unnecessarily not wasted. We stop speaking at that time. We because there is no thoughts there. We are holding the thoughts to any one particular subject inside and contemplating. Therefore, so we will at that time we will become silent. So we will not talk, and silence is something more than non-talking. Not to talk is simply holding the lips tight. You can be stop your speaking, but to stop the mind, only holding the lips tight won't do. So we have to stop the thought process itself. So we cannot stop it, so to say, make it zero, but we can make it go in one line. So that is called contemplation. Go on contemplating something great. You may contemplate on the meaning of a great musical composition of Tyagaraja or Purandaradasa or Muthuswami Dikshitar or Tansen or Tulsidas. If you go on contemplating inside the mind, so you become silence outside. You are not intending to come out at all and to talk to anyone. So this sort of a mauna attitude, the silent attitude, by keeping the mind in a contemplative mood, this is called maunam, silence. This is one of the characteristics of the mental tapas. Then Atma Vinigraha, self-control, controlling the mind. Controlling the mind from what? From going to outside physical things in search of joy, in search of something that is not there. So we go on running behind things of the external world. So to stop this mind running behind the things, unnecessarily thinking or falsely thinking that there is joy in it. So in a sort of a mood, very light mood where we don't think deeply that there is no joy in outside, real joy is inside. So we run behind many things. First of all, our mind runs. Mind goes on suggesting, let us go and see this, let us go and hear this, let us go and eat this. So this sort of outward running of the mind, when it is to be stopped. So this control of the outward going mind and apply it to think or contemplate the things that are more deeper and more enjoyable inside ourselves. This controlling of it from going to the outside things and directing to the inner things. This is called the Atma Vinigraha, control of ourselves, control of our mind. This is called in the technical word in the yoga pratyahara. Pratyahara means not to allow the mind to run behind the things it likes. The eyes likes to see the good things, the ear likes to hear good things, and the worldly nature. So each sense has its own attachment. So it goes and then wants to be busy with that. Stop every sense from running behind its object. So Swavishaya asamprayoge, that is not allowing our senses to run behind the external things and make it follow your good discriminative mind. So you have got certain things, certain principles to be followed. Make the mind think about them. Instead of running behind the outside for joy, you suggest to your mind, these higher things are there inside. Like the truthfulness is there, how great it is, how truthful people have become great, doing so much of good for their own self and to others also outside world. So like this, applying the mind to contemplate within yourself and make the mind run in that direction, inward direction. So the chitta swarupa anukaraiva. So swavishaya samprayoge chitta swarupa anukaraiva indriyanam pratyahara. The indriyas, the senses, are to be controlled like this and directed inside. This is called the Atma Vinigraha. This is called self-control, control of one's mind. Then what will happen? Tata Paramavashyata Indriyanam. Yoga Sutra of Patanjali tells us when once you are able to control the senses from running outside and you are able to turn the mind inward, then you will get tremendous control over all the senses. Because senses can act only after the mind gives a thought to it. We always do a work after thinking only. When before we go into the street with a car or a two-wheeler, we decide where to go. Then we do the action of going. So action of going can be done only after taking a decision in the mind where to go. So we get tremendous control over senses when we can control the mind. Because it's the mind that controls the senses. You control the mind, you control the senses. Therefore, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, Tata Paramavashyata Indriyanam. Supreme control over the senses can come when you control the mind itself. Then the last characteristic is Bhava Samshuddhi. Bhava Samshuddhi is purity of the heart. In the heart, that means where we have got all feelings, all sankalpa, vikalpa, resolutions. So thinking of making several resolutions, all these things are done at the level of the heart. The feelings, the power of the will, etc. is acting. All these, the power of the will and the feelings, etc. If they're all of a pure nature, the feelings should be noble feelings, feelings should be beneficial to others. So if you go on entertaining such good feelings only, and then the sankalpas we do, the decisions we take, if they're also for good, so the heart indicates the feelings, the power of action, the power of thinking, the thoughts, all these are connected with the term heart. So purity of the heart means pure thought, thinking pure thoughts, feeling pure feelings, noble feelings, always feel love for others, always feel kindliness to others, always feel the welfare for others. So if all such feelings are all noble feelings, then our heart is pure. So we must have a pure heart. We have to practice this. This is also one of the mental austerities. In the mental austerity, then we have got these characteristics. One is making the mind serene and calm. Second is always have kindliness in the mind. Third is make it contemplative and therefore reduce the speech, maunam. Then Atma Vinigraha, self-control, controlling the mind from going to the external things and make it go inside and then contemplate deeper things. Then Bhava Samshuddhi, having noble thoughts, having noble decisions in our heart. So these 5 characteristics are there in the mental austerity. So we have now learned the physical austerity, Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam, Shauchamarjavam, etc. Then next, Anudvegakaram Vakyam, the vocal austerity. And the third one is the mental austerity, the austerity practiced at the level of mind. So all these 3 austerities, they are together called austerity. When you say austerity, it includes all these 3. It may be at the level of physical body, which is called physical austerity. then on the speech level or at the mental level. So this austerity can be practiced at three levels. So all these three together is called simple austerity. When we say austerity, it includes all this. So austerity means three types of austerities together. Now, this austerity is practiced by three types of people, three types of aspirants. So some of them are the sattvic aspirants, the aspirants that are having the nature of sattva, and then there is the aspirants who are having the nature of rajas, and aspirants having the nature of tamas. So each aspirant, when he starts practicing, he practices all these three austerities. The austerity at the mental level, the vocal level, and the physical level is practiced by sattvic person, sattvic aspirant. Then it is one type we see. So many austerities and so many at three levels he practices. He that is endowed with sattva nature. Then the another aspirant who is Rajasic, he also practices these three, but in a different way. So he also controls his, he thinks about things which are very good, but his things are different about which he contemplates. Similarly, he will do also physical acts. He will also worship people, because in his own way he worships. So if you offer milk to your God, so he will be offering maybe sharbat, maybe some other drink. So different types of austerities are practiced by the different people having different natures. So now we are being told how the sattvic person practices these austerities. When a sattvic man, sattvic aspirant wants to practice the austerity, he will practice the mental, the vocal, and the physical. How does he practice? So that is being told. The Satvikam Parichakshate. So this tapas, the austerity practiced by a Satvika person, how does he do it? Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham naraihi aphalakangshibihi yuktehi Satvikam Parichakshate. It is called the Satvik tapasya by the aspirant when he does the tapasya of the three kinds, the mental, the vocal, and the physical. Trividham naraihi aphalakangshibihi yuktehi, with a concentrated mind, without any expectation of result from what he does. A person, when he practices this with Shraddhaya Paraya Shraddhaya Taptam, with a great faith, great belief, great conviction that what he is doing is the correct thing that should be done. So that is the correct way to reach the goal or to attain the goal he has set before him. This is called the supreme faith. You must first of all feel that what the path that I have selected and to be achieved through this tapasya, this austerity of the three kinds. So I believe in it 100%. I am convinced because I have received it from a proper teacher, proper wise man, or proper sage, or from the proper Vedas, the mantras. So he has got supreme faith. So with the supreme faith, when he practices the mental austerities, that is called Satvikam Tapaha Parichakshate. It is called the Satvika Tapa. So he is practicing Satvika austerity. When you say he is practicing austerity at the mental level, at the physical level, at the vocal level. So he controls his mind, controls his speech, and controls his physical senses, etc., body also. So that is called the sattvic austerity, which is done by a sattvic person. Now, next is the rajasic person. He also does austerity, but by nature he is rajasic. So everything that he does, everything that he speaks, everything that he thinks will all be colored by his nature. So how does he do it? So what is this? Rajasic austerity that is being practiced. It is being explained here. Satkara mana pujartham tapo dambhena chevayat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Satkara mana pujartham yat tapah dambhena kriyate, that tapas, austerity, which is performed through great ostentation and also for gaining satkara. Satkara means, sat means good, kara means the good words, the everybody telling, oh, he is a good man, he is a great austere person, he is an ascetic, etc. They want uttering good things about you, sometimes exaggerated, sometimes maybe false also. But one would like to hear such encomium, such self-praise. So, tadartham, for that sake, if one practices some austerities, it is called rajasic, the austerity. So he is expecting some encomiums, praise from others. Similarly, mana. So he should be honored. So he expects some honoring. So honoring by just giving you preference over others, giving you the first seat in any place, in a meeting, or asking you to be the first speaker in a big meeting, or you can make you to sit in the first place in a dining hall. All this mana. Mana is showing respect through some activity. So it is a physical thing. So this is called a Rajasic tapas. And then puja, satkara mana pujartham. Puja is the adoration. Adoration, puja here means not worship with flowers and sandal paste. Here is adoration. Through adoration, people present many things, very valuable things, and money also, lakhs and lakhs of rupees they can give you. All these things, if you expect and do the austerity, that austerity is called the Rajasic austerity, because it is practiced by the Rajasic person. And by seeing it having these characteristics, we can know that he is practicing the Rajasic austerities. Satkara, for hearing self-praise, then mana, being respected physically, then pujartham, with great adoration, with great presentations. He people come and that man likes it. It is for that with great ostentation. Dambhena yattapah kriyate. With great ostentation, he practices his tapas, the austerity. This dambhena ostentation means what? You see, for example, you may fast. You may fast silently sitting in your room, in your house, or you may go into the Chandni Chowk in Delhi or in some other big square in your own city, and there put a big placard saying, I am so and so practicing this austerity, then you can practice the austerity also. So, dambena, ostentation, showing oneself off as a person who is practicing austerity, which you are all aware now. So many people want to do the strike through shouting or through some song or some sort of a expression, all done with great ostentation, great pomp. So these things is called the Rajasic austerity. Austerity is true. He is practicing at the vocal level, at the mental level, and at the physical level. But what are the other things that are following his austerity? That austerity is expecting the encomium, praise, and also presentations from others, and publicity. So if it is there, then it is called Rajasam Tapa Uchyate. And what is the nature of this such austerity? It will not continue for long. Chalam adhruvam. It is, first of all, transitory. So you cannot see such a person continuing long for long. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days with a placard you can sit down in a square and then do some austerity. But that will not continue. Therefore, it is transitory. It is short-lived. It's for a few days only it will continue. After that austerity gets stopped. He himself will stop doing that austerity. Similarly, adhruvam, unstable. So it is also changeable. So it is changing. So he sees when he starts that he should say this thing, he should sit here for 5 hours, 6 hours, giving such and such a lecture. But when he finds no audience at all, he will stop everything. Afterwards, wind up and go away from that place itself. Adhruvam, unstable. So it is transitory and unstable. So this is the nature of Rajasic tapaha. Rajasic austerities practiced by Rajasic aspirants. Then we come to the Tamasic aspirant. मूढ़ग्राहेण आत्मना यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्य उत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. मूढ़ग्राहेण आत्मना यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः. Moodagraha. Moodagraha means the resolutions taken without any discriminative thinking, without thinking whether it is beneficiary to us, whether it is beneficial to others, whether this will lead to that sort of a situation. So without thinking anything about it. So some resolution you take, I will do this tapasya and I will achieve this. I will control some ghost or spirit. So who has taught you any mantra for bringing that ghost under your control? No, I have just heard about it. In my hereditary, I have heard some mantra. With that one, I will be able to control. This is called the stupidity in comprehending things. So never go deep and find out how it is to be done, but hold on to a resolution. It's called Moodagraha, a stupid resolution. So one holds on to that, which has no reason at all to be held to. You don't have to follow the path you are following because that has not been prescribed by any expert, by any proper guide. So, but you just think, oh, I will achieve. And then you start practicing certain austerities. This is called the tamasic way of austerity. The tamasic austerity is where you are taking decisions about performance of austerity without proper guru, proper guidance. It is a stupid way of doing things. Then Atmana yat pidaya kriyate tapaha. So by self-torture, some austerities are there, they go on beating themselves with ropes or with wires or pricking themselves with nails. All this Atmana pidaya, by torturing oneself. These also come under the category of tamasic austerity. Similarly, parasya utsadanartham va. Parasya means other people. And utsadanartham for killing, for exterminating others, for injuring others. If you practice certain austerity, that is called tat tamasa mudartha. It is a tamasic austerity. This is done by tamasic people. Because the tamasic people, their attitude to everything is tamasic. So in the tamasic mental austerity they do, their vocal austerity also is colored with tamasicness. Similarly, so in their vocal austerities, that is also colored with tamasic color. So this austerity is practiced by a tamasic aspirant. This is called the tamasic tapaha, tamasic austerity. So we have got now 3 types of aspirant following the 3 types of austerities. After telling this one, we come to the another one which was told in the earlier, yajnas tapas tatha dhanam. So tapa has been we have finished now. We come to the aspect of dana, gifting, to give gifts to others. So this is also it has got 3 types. the three types of aspirants practice giving gifts in their own way. How do they do it? दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते अनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं विद्धि सात्विकं तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते, that dana, that gift which is given with the idea, I must give this one. I don't expect anything in return. So my grandfather, my father, my all great people in my lineage, they have all given gifts. So I will also give this gift. So giving alone is my work. I don't expect anything out of it. Such attitude behind a gift that makes the dana, the gift, a sattvic austerity. The gift, the giving gift is a sattvic gift. So in the gift we are going to see three varieties of gifts. The sattvic gift is that which is given with only the idea. I have been giving, my ancestors have been giving, and I will continue to give. To give is good. So how does it do you good? What did you earn from that? That question does not arise. To give itself is good. Give for giving's sake. So such gift is called sattvic gift. Anupakarine, that which is given to a person who may not be able to return in any way, give anything in return to your gift. So we give to such people who are needy. So when you give to the needy people, you don't expect anything in return. It is just like a gift. Gift means it is you don't expect anything in return. And if you do it to a really deserving person, the person who is suffering, the person who is indigent, the person who is poor, so such person, you don't expect anything at all in return. Even the thanks you don't expect from him. You, on the other way, you may consider, I am lucky, I could give something to a really deserving man. In fact, real people who give from their heart, so they always feel that they got an opportunity to give. So that diyate anupakarine yaddanam, that gift that is given to a person who is unable to return it in any way, is a very indigent, poor, deserving person. That gift also is called sattvic gift. Similarly, deshe kale cha patre cha, that gift which is given at the right place. So right place means auspicious places are there. Say suppose you give gift in Dakshineshwar or in Varanasi. So it is called the proper place, the auspicious place, the pilgrimage place. So there, if you give a gift, there is an extra goodness about it. You will get extra merit out of it, and people also will be very pleased. We went to Varanasi, we got this thing. They will preserve it always. They will remember it always. So they say at the proper place, proper auspicious places where associations of sages, saints are there. So give a gift there. That is sattvic gift. Similarly, kalecha, at a good auspicious time, maybe a Diwali day, maybe on a Durga Puja day, maybe on a Sri Ramakrishna's birthday. Though you give gift, that is called to give at the right time. And then patrecha, to a deserving person. Suppose you give to undeserving persons, you give something that somebody should eat well and build up his health. So you give some money. Instead of that, he uses it for bad purposes. Perhaps he may drink out of the money you have given, or perhaps he may squander it in some other way. Then that gift becomes useless. So, patrecha, a deserving person, that which is given to a deserving person, taddanam sattvikam smritam. That gift is called a sattvic gift. So, we have started with the nature of gifts, then the gift becomes sattvic gift or a rajasic gift or tamasic gift as according to the person. So when the sattvic person gives the gift like this, the characteristic of that giving gift are given here. He first feels that I should give, therefore I give. Giving for giving's sake. Then at proper place to the proper person at the proper time and to deserving persons. When these gifts are done like this, they are called the sattvic gifts. So we shall continue the same topic in our next class. Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devake Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadgurum.